Welcome back. This is Mrs. Sergeant Teddy Bear, and we are back in the laundry room for phase 2 and 3, focusing this time on de-hoarding emergency supplies. This video will not have a satisfying before and after, unfortunately. So if you're looking for that, you might want to wait until I get all of the phases together in one video. In this video, I will be turning this space into a laundry room that I can use without crying, and I will organize the supplies so that the people with decision-making authority over emergency supplies can have an easier time, hopefully purging a lot of them. And that will be phase 4, which should be coming soon. If you want to know when it comes out, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. This has been the single most stressful video I've made for you so far. Starting out here, there's literally nowhere to stand, nowhere to stage things, nowhere to start sorting. It's just completely filled top to bottom. And there's just nowhere to stand, and it's so overwhelming. So what I did is I took anything I thought we could maybe part with, and I tossed it into a couple of contractor grade trash bags, and I left it for my husband to sort. But because so much of what went in there is stuff just completely out of context, it was hard to let stuff go. We did get one bag gone, and then this is phase 2 is almost over here. I pulled down the sheets. My mom actually helped me put these sheets up a couple of years ago, just so that I could be in my laundry room without crying. So I pulled down the sheets so I don't have to look at it, and then I just kind of made more space for myself in the laundry area. And that was all I did, and that took about an hour and a half. And you can see here I used some old water, emergency water, just to fill my washing machine. So if you have emergency water and you're like, wow, this is actually like really old, your clothes won't get sick if they drink it, so that's probably okay. If it is not okay and there's something I'm not thinking about, I hope that somebody will mention it in the comments. So this did make a huge difference, even though it's not a whole job. You'll see in just a second. This is the end of phase 2, and I will show you phase 3 coming up right now. My truly amazing friend Patricia came over, and she helped me so much. She helped me so much, and she kept saying, I feel like I'm not doing anything. I feel bad. I feel like I've come and I haven't helped you in any way. And it was completely untrue. So if you are the friend who comes over and you feel like I'm not making any difference at all, know that that is almost definitely not true. I've mentioned before, this is not stuff I have decision-making authority over, which makes it that much more overwhelming. I think if it were my stuff, I'm so fed up with the state of my house right now that I would just get rid of a bunch of it. I think it's not actually my stuff. I don't have the emotional attachment to the stuff, but I do have a huge emotional involvement with the stuff, and having that firm, not firm, but steady kind of uninvolved, unemotionally attached presence it just made it possible. It just made it possible for me to figure out what to do, where to start. And it took probably about an hour into the project for us to realize what our goal even was at this time. And we decided our goal would be to sort everything into categories so that it is easier to make choices. And once we decided that, the work was much easier. We got boxes and buckets and just sorted things by category. And eventually we moved the whole party into my downstairs room, which is not clean. It's not already a clean space, but there was more space to spread out. So Patricia brought me boxes, and then I was looking at one box and I was sorting into other boxes, and oh, it was so much easier. So much less emotional stress, so much less frustration, and it was a much safer space to keep the baby in, so he was able to crawl around instead of fussing in his pack and play. So I truly felt guilty just staying in this den and letting Patricia go back and forth and do all the work. Meanwhile, she's feeling guilty that she's not doing any of the hard work. So we're just, having a guilt trip on ourselves. But really, I think I've helped people before and people help me, and I always feel best when I'm helping. And so don't feel guilty. Stop it. Stop it. Stop feeling guilty. Stop it. It's okay to accept help, and it's good for the person who's helping too, because it feels good and you're giving them an opportunity to serve you, and people like to feel needed. And Patricia, you were so helpful and so needed, and thank you. Thank you so much. There were several times when I really felt like quitting. Several times where Patricia was getting ready to need to leave. So we were like, what do we do? Do you want to keep pushing through? And I decided, let's push through this whole mound and just get everything sorted. And you can see the shelves are actually fairly organized. There's way too much stuff on the shelves, but they are organized because at one point this room was fairly organized. And then we got new stuff and put it near where it went instead of where it went, and maybe where it went was a little too full. And then eventually we just had a huge pile of, well, we'll get to it eventually. Oh, man. Well, eventually finally came. So after she left, we were on a great trajectory, and I knew what I was doing, and I really felt able to keep up the work. I had to stop and make dinner, and boy, did I not want to make dinner. But you know what? Real life is still happening while all of this is going on. So, fed my family dinner, and I was just in such go mode that I was like, let me just finish this. No, you can't sit anywhere. There's nowhere to sit. There's still boxes in here. But let me not compound the problem by leaving boxes in the den where we sit and watch TV sometimes, spend family time together. I'm really jealous of those spaces we have cleared out or kept clear. And so I try not to even stage things there because I know I will poop out and be too tired. And we will lose those spaces. So I wish this were the after picture, but all those boxes had to come back in. And my husband will go through and cull them later. And we disagree about how much needs to be culled, but he's going to get rid of more than makes him comfortable. And he's doing it to please me. He's doing it to please me, and for a while I wanted to be mad about that because I want him to want to do it. Don't do it for me. That makes me feel bad. But you know what? I feel like he kind of gets more points for doing it to please me. He is digging down deep, and he is self-sacrificing. And this is hard. It's hard for both of us. And the easy thing would be to let this drive a wedge between us, but he won't let that happen. And his example reminds me to do better when I am letting my emotions control me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know if that's the right word. I hope it was helpful. And I'll see you next time.